Welcome back to Tap Into TV. I am Brian Brodeur, coming to you from East Main Media Studios in Little Falls, New Jersey. On this week's show, author and photographer Alex Gulino tells us about her book, Empire State of Decay. We meet Allison Kulesza, General Manager of Car Lofts, an exotic automobile storage and event space. We take a new look at martial arts with Legg of New Jersey Tai Chi. And as students return to school, we revisit our conversations with educators and organizations from the 2018 NJEA convention. But first, we commemorate the 19th anniversary of the attacks on September 11, 2001, with a look back at our coverage of Cedar Grove Waves.
Cedar Grove Waves is really about three very important things. One is to honor the people of the lives we lost. The other one is to remember the lives we lost, and also to educate the young people that were so young that they don't remember the events of that day.
I was just over a year old when 9/11 happened, so I don't remember much, but it really shows us that even though something so devastating happens, we all pull together.
There was approximately 3,000 people that were killed that day on September 11th, and so what we do is we put a marker down with the person's name on it and a corresponding flag to their country of origin.
We've gotten a flag for everybody from the country that they're from to show that we really care about every single person. Although we're all Americans, we all have different backgrounds. That's kind of what America is about. So by getting a flag for each different person from each country, it shows how much of a significance each person is to America.
For us, this is quite a big effort and a lot of work, but it's important for Cedar Grove because we want to make sure that our young people who were too young to remember the events of that day, that we educate them on them. We made a promise to the people that died that day that we're going to remember them, and so that's what we're trying to make sure that we do. This year we were able to secure a 4-foot piece of 9/11 steel that we're actually going to make part of a permanent monument here right at the high school. Because one of the things we wanted to do is, besides having Cedar Grove Waves, is we wanted to have a permanent piece that would remind people and cause a discussion with young people about the events of that day.
It really shows you that we have such a good country that even though such a bad thing happened, that we all come together and work together to make something good come out of it.
What is Tap Into TV? Tap Into TV is the flagship video channel within the Tap Into hyperlocal news network. Not only are we producing original video programming, but we're also developing branded content for industries including business and finance, health and wellness, arts and entertainment, and more. The Tap Into network reaches a dedicated audience of over 8 million subscribers and users, with over 30 million unique page views last year alone. Nearly 2/3 of the Tap Into audience views Tap Into content 5 to 7 times per week, and almost half of that audience bought a product or service because they saw it advertised on Tap Into. Tap Into TV content is automatically distributed to over 40 affiliate websites within the Tap Into network. And not only have we recently launched a dedicated Roku channel, but we produce a weekly half-hour broadcast television show on News 12+, which reaches over 3.5 million homes across the tri-state area. We know how to tell your story, and not only can we professionally produce it, but we can effectively broadcast it as well. For more information about how Tap Into TV can help you, visit tapintotv.net or email us at tapintotv@gmail.com.
To watch more Tap Into TV videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Tap Into TV.
We're joined today by Alex Gulino, author of Empire State of Decay. Alex, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to be here.
So somebody picks up this book. What do they find in it? It's photos, but are there descriptions? Describe to me what the book is.
Well, in this book, I decided to describe more of my journey getting to these places. I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go in, and I was telling someone the story, and I'm like, oh my God, and I slid down the hill, and then I fell over here, and I had to climb through this, and da, da, da. And they were like, there, that's your book.
Yeah, so it's almost like a travel adventure book in a way.
So I started this hobby maybe 3 years ago. It's called Urban Exploration. And basically it's visiting abandoned buildings wherever you can find them and documenting them through photographs.
So did you start doing this as a photographer, or did you start exploring places and take pictures? Like, how did that come about?
I saw some videos actually on YouTube of other explorers doing this, and I said, hey, that sounds really cool. And actually I was just searching for cool things in New Jersey to see and stumbled upon this.
So this is interesting, right? So this comes out of you posting photos on social media, and then a publisher picks it up and says, hey, this is a book, let's go.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was relatively new. I am still relatively new in this game. There's explorers out there that have been doing this 10 plus years. And I started about 3 years ago, started discovering these places, started going out and documenting them through photography, throwing up on my Instagram and other social channels. And Font Hill Media stumbled upon them, reached out to me and said, hey, you want to do a book on this?
So this is interesting. Give me a little sense of what kind of places are we talking about exploring?
There's obviously a great variety. I'm sure anybody that drives down any kind of road anywhere would notice an abandoned factory, old school, hospital, and hospitals are always our favorites. We love finding old wheelchairs. The crazy thing is we'll even find records back to the early 1900s. What was it, a couple weeks ago, I stumbled upon some records from the 1930s. Obviously, the HIPAA rules didn't exist yet.
Wow. Now, I got to ask the question, are some of these places that you shouldn't be in, that you have to sneak into, or?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because this is really interesting. Tell me about that.
You could say that. Generally, yeah, it requires a lot of research, to find out about where these places are. And then the other part is, how do you actually get in? Generally, I do try to get permission if I can in advance.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Because that's the right thing to do.
That's right, kids. That's what you should do at home. And so once I find out the information, I'll obviously go with a friend or two. That is the number one rule. I cannot stress it enough. Do not go alone.
And tell me why.
Well, for so many reasons. One of them is obviously the safety concern is, we don't know if there's somebody else in there, and maybe they're up to no good. So to protect you, A, from other people, B, generally these buildings are not structurally sound. You could fall through the floor, you could, rip your arm open on some rusty nails, whatever it is. The point is to have a couple others with you just to make sure you're safe. If you need some kind of medical attention, if you need to get out of the building quickly and need assistance, you have somebody there to help you out.
Wow. I wanted to touch on, there are places that people know, right, for urbex, right? So like the Eastern State Penitentiary, everyone's seen these pictures.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, the decayed place, and there are a lot of books featuring that. Are there particular favorites for you? And is it a style of place? I mean, what catches your eye for a place to go to?
I guess usually what's most exciting, churches are great. If you can find one, you can find a church with pews still in them. Because I've also found churches without the pews, not as exciting. And it's usually just because you just want to see the history of it. And it's almost like these places are frozen in time. So if you find like a hospital or a church or something like that where you can see the old equipment that was there or the old relics in churches, it's just fascinating to look at. And I love capturing that. It's like a moment in time.
So the book, Empire State of Decay, do you feature on mainly New York or the tri-state area?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually originally proposed the book to be part of New Jersey and New York, and I had a different title for it, and the publisher turned around to me and said, hey, how about this? We'll give you 2 books instead.
Whoa, hold on. and of course you said no to that. I don't want to. Yeah. That's great.
Of course.
So you've got other projects then in the pipeline.
I do. Now that Empire State of Decay is finally out, which obviously I'm incredibly excited about, we have another book coming out. Should be out in the summer of next year. Obviously, everything's been a bit delayed, and that one will be focused on New Jersey.
Now, are there other states or areas that you may venture into? How large can this get?
Oh, I probably could do them one for every state if I really wanted to. Actually, the publisher is looking to focus on very specific areas right now, and then we actually got into a discussion about a whole new book series he wants to do anyway that it doesn't even have to do with abandoned stuff. It's about documenting specific towns and their histories and what makes them unique and all that good stuff.
Wow. Well, we love doing some of that here at Tap Into TV. It's fascinating. There's history all around us and right in front of our eyes. And
absolutely.
It's really fascinating that you're taking us visually into the past, but through a present window. And that's a really interesting thing. We wish you the best with the book. And Empire State of Decay. Alex Gulino, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
To watch more Tap Into TV, follow us on social media at TAPintoTV.
It was Benjamin Franklin who said, "The only two things certain in life are death and taxes." Although we know this to be true, most people are not proactively preparing for either. The three crucial questions that all taxpayers need to answer are, what am I going to do to reduce taxes for the future? When should I make the changes? And who is going to help me with all of this? Anticipate future issues, needs, or changes by working with a proactive advisor who not only helps you memorialize the past, but helps you plan for the future. Ask more questions, collect more data, examine your strategy, and consider the big picture. It's always better to be proactive than reactive. Please contact us for more information.
I'm joined by Allison Kulesza, General Manager of Car Lofts in Fairfield. Allison, tell me about Car Lofts.
Car Lofts is a premier vehicle storage facility with a private social club for car enthusiasts. We also have venue rental options available for private events.
So tell me about your vehicle storage. Who are your clientele and what types of cars do you store?
We store vehicles of all kind. I get this question all the time, and at the end of the day, everyone's into something different. Some people are really into Lamborghinis, some people are really into classic muscle cars. We have everything in this garage. We have a 1929 Hudson all the way to a 2020 Lamborghini. One of the great things about storing your car at Car Lofts actually is essentially what you're doing is you're renting or leasing a parking space. So you can swap out your vehicle as you see fit. So one of the other features of our vehicle storage is we keep the floor access controlled. And the reason for that is our main priority is to keep your vehicles safe, secure, and protected. When you come to Car Lofts to get your car, you're gonna be taken care of by a member of our staff. You're not gonna come in and drive the car yourself. We're gonna do all that for you.
Well, you mentioned you're not just an automobile storage facility, but you also have a social club. Tell me about that.
So our private social club, which we call the Loft, is on the second floor of our facility. It overlooks the vehicle storage area, so your cars become the backdrop to the space. We have 7 televisions up there, a cigar lounge, billiards table, game room with professional racing simulator. Members are able right now to just come in during open access hours. They let themselves in. They can come upstairs, hang out, maybe watch a game, smoke a cigar, and then they let themselves out. They get access with a key fob, and we amend the hours every so often depending on what's going on.
Can organizations rent that space out, right?
So we do rent our space out for private events as well. You can rent out the loft for your own event. And then we do have an area downstairs on our first floor that we call the warehouse that we also rent out for private events.
What are the amenities that you offer?
Car Lofts has a lot of different amenities in our vehicle storage area that's set us apart from the rest. So first of all, we're climate controlled. So the environment in here, we keep it at a certain temperature during the summer and during the winter, all different months. So it's like your car being stored inside your living room, essentially. We're carbon monoxide protected. We have 24/7 automated security. So we have 60 cameras through the interior and the exterior of the building. So the cars are visible to our cameras at all times. We have trickle charger connections available. So a lot of the older, and actually all cars pretty much need to be hooked up to a trickle charger if they're not being driven regularly. And we add an extra security measure with your keys. We keep them locked in a keeper box, which ensures the highest level of accountability. It can only be opened with a fingerprint, and it takes pictures every time a key's taken in or out. The last thing that we offer here is we do have a concierge service available to help manage your vehicle needs. So basically what that means is I can coordinate anything you need. So if you need an oil change, you need a paint correction, you call us, you let us know what you need, and through our network of partners, we can coordinate it for you. One thing that we can do in-house is a car detail because we have an in-house wash bay. We still use a partner for that, an external partner, but your car doesn't need to leave our facility.
Allison, tell me how the pandemic has affected the business at Car Lofts, and what does the future look like?
We only finished construction here September 2019, middle of the month. And we had our grand opening on September 13th, 2019. But after our grand opening, we still had some things on the back end, so we really didn't open our doors until November of 2019. We were gaining a lot of momentum, a lot of traction, and then March, COVID hit, and it kind of came to a halt. Also, we were heading into the springtime, so people are looking to take their cars out of storage, not necessarily put them into storage. So what we did over the pandemic is we sort of shifted our focus away from the social aspect and more just to vehicle storage and promoting our overall space and brand and who we are. Now that the things are starting to lift a little bit, what we've been doing is pretty much what we're allowed to do. Cars and coffee events, they're outdoors, people can social distance. We have signs up to wear masks. We take temperature checks on the way in. And that's probably where we're gonna be for a little bit. And then as things start to lift a little more and more, we'll host more and more events to sort of drive up interest in membership. At the end of the day, we're trying to build a family of car enthusiasts here.
Allison, thanks for joining me. And if you would like more information about Car Lofts, visit thecarlofts.com. As our communities begin to reopen, it's important for businesses of all sizes to let their customers know how they're moving forward, and we're here to help. The TAPinto Network is the nation's fastest growing hyper-local news provider, and TAPintoTV provides unmatched video marketing capabilities. TAPintoTV utilizes multiple platforms, including broadcast television, social media, our brand new Roku channel, and don't forget the incredible online search rankings that our content delivers. When you're ready, we're ready. Call or email us today. We'd be happy to help. It's time to get back to business. Well, I am thrilled to be joined here in studio today by the founder of New Jersey Tai Chi, Mr. Harry Legg. Harry, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Brian. Love it.
Great to have you here. We've got a lot to talk about. So I want to start out with kind of a dummies question. People think Tai Chi, and I think originally I was this way. I thought of, people in the park doing moves, and that was the extent of what I knew about what it might be. It's more than that. Can you demystify that for me?
Sure. That is the common thought, that it's just people in the park moving really, really slow, and that's it. It's just an exercise. That's so not the case. First off, most people may not realize Tai Chi is a deadly martial art, not just an exercise for seniors. But you might wonder, how does a deadly martial art have all this health benefit, and why is it done for health so frequently?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. What's that crossover?
Right. So your typical martial art, which we would call an external martial art, maybe Taekwondo or karate would be a really good example. That is using a lot of muscle tension, very tough, kind of tight in many cases. Tai Chi works the opposite. It works through softness, through relaxation, a much deeper level than most people would ever realize is possible. And that softness beats the muscle tension in the strength.
Absolutely. Let's talk about finding an instructor, right? Because people can study with you and you have an instructor. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Okay, well, I do have a master level, world-renowned teacher. His name is Richard Clear, and he's based in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So there's a number of things when you're looking for a proper teacher or school. One of the things is a little controversial. Yes, and I'm going to make some people unhappy.
Okay.
But I have to be honest, I don't just feel that way. My teacher and many other masters feel this way. If you are teaching Tai Chi purely for health, you still need to at least show what the martial applications of the movements are. There's very good reason for that. If you are just doing these goofy choreographic moves that you would see in Tai Chi, and you have zero understanding of what those moves do, well, first of all, from a very basic perspective, you're gonna have trouble memorizing them. But then to get the proper alignments, proper efficiency of body movement, proper structure, all of which brings about good health, you must have a basic understanding of the martial side.
Wow. It occurs to me, it reminds me a little bit about music. You know, you can learn a couple chords and have great enjoyment with the basics, but then you can take it as deep as you possibly want or could. And it's a lifetime of practice and experience. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, you could do a technically perfect musical performance, but it could lack the emotion and the soul. So it's very much the same thing with your Tai Chi. You could have the moves technically correct, but if you don't have the understanding, if you don't have the energy running through you as well, now that's another issue.
Right.
A lot of places are teaching just what we would, in the dance world, you'd call it choreography. In the martial arts world, we would call it form. And they're teaching just the movement, the choreography. So, if they're not teaching the energetic qualities to Tai Chi, that's another problem, another issue. Because without the energy, why would you choose Tai Chi? You could choose walking, you could choose ballroom dancing, you could do so many other things. But Tai Chi has a laundry list of benefits that are evidence-based. You can look up Harvard Medical Tai Chi and you will see, off the top of my head, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, hypertension, and on and on and on and on. So you want to get the energy.
Let's touch on your webinar, because you've had a successful new webinar that you've put out. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, it's alignmyenergy.com. What we find is people are being zapped of their energy because their body is fighting itself, and you don't even know it. Anytime you have tension anywhere in your body is burning energy and fighting itself. So I have taken principles from Tai Chi, so you don't have to be a Tai Chi student, taken principles from Tai Chi and put together a program in this webinar that brings to light the problems with your alignment, your tension, and then how to relax, how to include your mind. And it makes a massive difference. It's gonna help you sleep. It's gonna help you store energy and not burn it. So you get a good night's sleep and you wake up refreshed. We talk about the bio battery that we have, so to speak, and we can store energy in that.
Well, thanks for joining me, and let's take a look at some demonstrations.
Thank you. All right, so to talk about how Tai Chi works versus your typical external martial arts, in which you would see this. If Paul throws a punch at me, go ahead. You'll see a lot of this in external martial arts. That bone on bone, it's very hard, and it's harder to do as you get older. Tai Chi works through relaxation, so I'll give you a few examples. If I stand here like Joe Tough Guy, chest all, puffed up, and hey man, you took my parking spot, and he goes to put a hand on me to move me, it's really easy because I'm full of tension, okay? But now, if I'm relaxed, and it doesn't mean that I have bad posture, I still have good posture, but I'm relaxed. If he does the same thing, go ahead. He's got a problem. All right, so we've talked about why, when you're learning Tai Chi for health, you still need to have some exposure to the martial applications so that you have an idea of what the movements do. So one of the first moves that most everyone sees in their form is this, called rise and fall. Let me show you a couple of things that that can do. If Paul throws some punches at me, and down he goes. That's a very simplified explanation, but you should know what this can do. There's another thing. If Paul grabs me down here to like hold me in place because his buddies are coming to pounce on me, let me show you the wrong way to do this with tension, so go ahead. If I'm using tension, I have that. But if I'm relaxed, he pops right off. So the downward motion on that pops him right off, but I have to be soft and my whole body must be connected. So you can see one of the reasons why you definitely want to show the martial applications. It's very important to have proper body structure, proper alignment, proper efficiency of movement, and the connection all the way through your body. Without that, you're missing out on some of the health benefits.
To learn more about Tap Into TV, visit TAPintoTV.net.
Just like we all know reading a bedtime story to kids is great because they grow up to love books, our world needs bedtime math. We're all about making math a fun thing you do on purpose at home. It's not just bedtime. We put out a funny little story every day about ninjas or flamingos or chocolate chips, and people can do it any time of day. We have a bath crowd that does it at bath time. There's a dinner crowd. People do it while carpooling. It's anytime you want. Well, we know from research that our app gets kids ahead 3 months in math skills in 1 year. So we are now working with schools to get the word out to as many families as we can. And it's called Parents Count. And we'll help a school put out flyers during parent-teacher conferences for teachers to let parents know that there's this amazing resource for them. Every little story has questions starting for a 3-year-old, like find 3 rectangles in your room, or what's 2 + 3? When parents do it, they start to realize they can do math, and they remind themselves, even if they really have been nervous about math, that actually they can do it too. And my favorite thing about this job is when I get fan mail where people say, you know, this is the first time I've loved math as a grown-up, and that's what we want to do. I think we have 2 reasons to get good at math. One is obviously the shortage of engineers and scientists, and everybody who wants to go into those jobs needs math. But we need math in real life, and that's all of us. Everything from wondering if a warranty is worth it to understanding statistics in the paper and whether you can believe them. I mean, there's so many things in real life that use math, and it's all about being fluent and not getting too hung up on an exact answer, because in real life, actually just being able to estimate will get you pretty far. We started as just a fun math story every night, and that's on our app, and we have books. But we also started an after-school club called Crazy Eights, and that's a free kit. And any school or library that can round up 12 kids and meet weekly, we will send the kit. And it's everything from glow-in-the-dark geometry, toilet paper Olympics, really fun and lively, showing kids that math is just awesome and a fun thing to do.
It's like no other bus you've ever seen. So right now we're based at the Meadowlands Environment Center, and we travel out to about a 50-mile radius, and we roll the mobile food lab right to the school, and we're interested in bringing food literacy to the children of New Jersey. Because to learn about food, first of all, you have to prepare it, and then you have to eat it, and that's what we do on part of the bus. Also, to understand about food, you really should know something about the science of taste. So the back of the bus is really all about doing science experiments that have to do with food. Food is something that draws us all together, and what a great way to bring kids together to learn science and art and prepare food and learn about healthy eating and learn about how it affects their bodies. What better way than to have them prepare food and learn about the science of food?
To watch more Tap Into TV, follow us on social media at TAPintoTV.
We hope to see you back here next week for another episode of Tap Into TV. Please follow us on social media, and remember you can watch any of our videos anytime at TAPintoTV.net. So thanks for watching. Please stay safe and healthy. See you next week. Tell me about recording the motorcycle outside. Theater professional and artistic director Brenda. Theater professional and artistic director. Oh.